what you have is your stupid American cartoons. Choo-choo! Choo-choo! Ha 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 ha! You laugh and dance!
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today, we're looking to the future and wishing on every star we see some of these Xbox exclusives make their way to PS5 now that Microsoft is seemingly opening the multi-platform floodgates.
Welcome home. 6 years. And I was starting to think you'd never come back.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. State of Decay 3.
Who were you before? Who did you love? What did you believe?
State of Decay was a breakout success for the 360, and while its sequel might have been a bit disappointing compared to its predecessor, both titles remain some of the most addictive zombie survival games of the last 2 generations, and the addition of multiplayer in the sequel only furthered the franchise's possibilities. However, the series has long been an Xbox staple, and with the upcoming and highly anticipated third entry, we'd love to see the series survive an encounter with the PS5 and let players experience this beloved zombie apocalypse. While we'd love to be able to play the previous entries as well, we'd settle for the newest supply run from Undead Labs, and from what we've seen so far, it looks to be their most ambitious yet. So, allowing PS5 owners the chance to scavenge via crossplay could only increase players' chances of survival.
No one is forgotten.
Quantum Break.
Gotta keep moving. No!
Given Remedy's recent success with Alan Wake 2 and Control, and the rest of the developer's library being easily available, as well as plans to make all their future titles multi-platform, it seems only right that their last remaining Xbox exclusive, Quantum Break, finally breaks away and makes its way to PlayStation. Remedy has been building their own multiverse which connects all their titles, and Quantum Break remains the only outlier of their catalog. Quantum Break is arguably the stepping off point for modern day Remedy, and the mix of live action and gameplay might not have been as revolutionary as Sam Lake and company might have hoped, but the time manipulation powers, solid shooting mechanics, and Remedy's unconventionally inventive mind-bending storytelling deserves to be experienced by longtime fans and newcomers to the Remedy-verse.
So, what you did next? It wasn't personal?
No.
Starfield.
We appear to have a visitor.
Welcome to Constellation. We have a lot to talk about.
One of the most obvious choices for a port, but we're going to make the argument anyways. Sony fans were in an uproar when it was announced Microsoft had acquired the developer, and fears of exclusivity began to spread. That all came to a devastating head when Starfield was announced as an Xbox exclusive shortly after its full reveal. Though the game isn't without its issues and is still outdated in many aspects, fans of the developer are still petitioning for Starfield to make its way to PS5, and with Microsoft loosening its grip on some of their exclusives, Starfield seems to be the next likely candidate. With all the upcoming patches as well as the DLC, Starfield on the PS5 could end up being the definitive version of the game, and along with faster load times, could end up being the game Bethesda always intended to make.
Welcome! What's mine is yours. Well, no, it's still mine, but you get what I mean.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
You're wondering if maybe you should have built yourself a life of meaning instead of ending up here.
Another entry that hasn't been released yet, the whip-cracking, fedora-wearing archaeologist, is one upcoming release we really hope manages to see a PS5 entry unearthed. Everything about Indy's latest adventure looks and feels like a Lost Spielberg entry back at the height of the franchise, and after Dial of Destiny, fans of the OG Relic Hunter really need a win. Machine Games seems to have nailed the formula for a great Indiana Jones adventure. A world-altering relic, a global treasure hunt, and Nazis hot on Indy's trail, all the hallmarks are there for what will hopefully be a solid entry into Indiana Jones's memoirs. Machine Games' other projects, specifically the Wolfenstein series, have been multi-platform. So for the developer's newest game to be trapped on Xbox, especially with such a popular IP, is extremely disappointing, and is arguably the one we're most hopeful will see a future release on PS5.
What are you going to do, Indiana?
Rare Replay.
Very professionally done, my dear. But there's no time to waste. You must leave immediately.
Rare had one of the most prolific careers in the gaming industry before being acquired by Microsoft, and then being forced to work mainly on Kinect titles until breaking free with Sea of Thieves. Microsoft further rubbed salt in the wound years earlier by showcasing the developer's storied history by releasing Rare Replay, a collection of 30 of Rare's best games to remind gamers of their pedigree and industry-shaping projects. With Sea of Thieves finally making waves on PlayStation and rising to the top of the sales charts, releasing this collection alongside the developer's recent multi-platform success would give all new fans access to many games that were locked to older generations of consoles, such as Conker and Banjo, and allow older fans to relive some of the glory days of their childhood once again. I'm getting all the member berries just thinking about it.
Well, yeah, anyway, yeah, I gotta go now.
You're like the rest of them.
Sunset Overdrive.
Now, use what you just learned to finish off the OP!
This one is a bit of a weird one, because Insomniac Games is primarily known for their association with PlayStation. But out of the handful of times they branched out, they managed to drop one of the most outrageous and original bangers on Xbox, and then just jumped right back to PlayStation, leaving one of their best games trapped on the big green box. Making fantastic use of the studio's strengths, Sunset Overdrive featured the impossible weapons from Ratchet & Clank, and traversal unlike anything ever seen up to that point, all packaged together with an equally outlandish and hilarious story that could only come from the minds of the developers at Insomniac Games. The devs have claimed they're too busy with Wolverine and other projects to port the game to PlayStation, but that doesn't mean someone else couldn't do it, right, Microsoft? Forza Horizon 5.
Do your worst! We are riders on the storm! Riders on the storm! We fear nothing!
While PlayStation has Gran Turismo and Xbox has Forza Motorsport for their realistic racing sims, only Xbox has the Forza Horizon spin-off for the arcade racing fans. Although Horizon still has car customization for the die-hard motorheads, the series is more focused on over-the-top racing events, and by far Forza Horizon 5 is Playground Games' masterpiece in the genre. Featuring a ridiculously beautiful and detailed open-world Mexico-inspired map for players to race across, the list of different events players can take part in is rivaled only by the number of cars they can unlock. While the tuning culture might lean more towards the motorsport entries, those looking for one of the most engaging and just downright fun times racing expensive cars across beaches, volcanic mountains, and ancient Mayan temples, there's nothing else like Forza Horizon 5 on the market, and is a racing subgenre the PlayStation is sorely missing. Fable.
What do I think about heroes? Well, we've all seen them, haven't we?
PlayStation fans have had no shortage of action RPGs over the many generations, but there's something undeniably charming about the Fable series that no other franchise has really been able to capture in the same way. Although none of the games ever reached the heights that Peter Molyneux claimed, the series still has a devoted fanbase in which players gleefully lived out their lives adventuring, doing menial jobs, getting married, and kicking chickens for 3 mostly beloved entries. While we'd love for the original trilogy to be ported as well, it's far more likely we'd see the newest entry from Playground Games, allowing the series to finally reach a wider audience that could only help give it the recognition it deserves. And with hints that the latest entry ties back to the original series, now is the perfect time for a legacy release of the franchise on the PS5 leading up to 2025.
I'm going to fix it, this place. And no one is going to stand in my way.
Gears of War series.
I have a rendezvous with death. And I to my pledged word am true. I shall not fail that rendezvous.
The Gears of War series is responsible for the popularization of cover shooting in third-person action games, and much like Halo, is synonymous with the Xbox. But just imagine how incredible it would be to see the entire Gears series, or at least the original trilogy and Judgment, never forget Judgment, release on PlayStation leading up to Gears of War E-Day. The gruff cog soldiers taking on the Locust hordes is the ultimate callback to 80s bro action movies, and feeling the recoil of the active reload and Marcus slamming into cover with gunfire exploding all around you through the DualSense would make the PS5 versions the definitive way to play the iconic series. The games wouldn't even need that much of a visual overhaul, as the games have aged surprisingly well and the cover-based shooting mechanics remain the industry standard.
Marcus, whatever it takes, I'm here.
Halo: The Master Chief Collection.
Master Chief, defend this station.
Yes, sir. I need a weapon.
Right this way.
This would be the biggest win for PlayStation fans who have long watched the Halo series green with envy like the Chief's armor. Ever since Halo redefined first-person shooters on consoles all the way back in 2001, Sony has been desperately trying to develop their own Halo killer to mixed results. Although it would undeniably be a massive blow to Xbox to see their mascot make the jump to Sony, there's no denying the game would be a massive financial win for Microsoft, and especially with the Master Chief Collection in a state of near perfection, PlayStation fanboys could finally experience the entire Halo saga at its peak. If Microsoft and Sony could also get along well enough to allow for crossplay between consoles, the multiplayer shooter scene could finally return to the good old days and mark the start of a bright new future for the series.
I miss you.
Wake me when you need me.
What Xbox exclusives would you like to see make their way to PlayStation? Share your picks in the comments. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.